It is Sunday, December the 8th, 2019. We have a very interesting episode today because we are seeing the manifestation of a potential 1, 2, 3 bottom formation starting to shape up and almost ready to break above the number 2 point. We would have a potential buy signal here or on a retest right here. And through this episode, we're going to either confirm or refute this 1, 2, 3 formation by using our indicator set. And at the end of this episode, I'm going to share why this is so critically important to the altcoins right now. That's what's up on today's episode of the 24 Hours of Bitcoin. If you're new to this channel, it came into being as I was studying the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation and having trouble being successful with it. Because we came down to the bottom of this trend line. Here is the number 1 point. Prices came up and they tried to go higher. As they came back and tried to go lower but failed, this is our potential number 3 point. So we have a 1, 2, 3 formation. It's broken above the down trend line, depending on where you draw it, and the 4-hour exponential moving average has crossed over. So 2 of the 3 trading requirements for my simple trading plan have manifested. And I've used this for a long time where the breakout here is a buy signal or a retest and strength off of that level is the buy signal. But many times these 1, 2, 3 formations didn't work out for me. They turned out to be pissing off the roof formations. And so I started doing this daily study of all of these indicators against this 1, 2, 3 pattern so that I could look under the hood, as it were, to understand this even better. And today's episode is fantastic because it really reveals some of the weakness of blindly following the 1, 2, 3 formation without extra information. And so I've been seeking this extra information by looking at all of these indicators on all the time frames when we have that formation set up so that I can get perspective as to what does that formation really mean against everything else. So in the larger time frame, in the bigger scale, we have a parallel channel downward and a potential little 1, 2, 3 formation on the 4-hour time frame. So looking at the weekly time frame, I want to know a perspective of what does this mean against the larger trend. Here's our RSI. And it's got to break above these levels to go bullish. Until then, it's remaining bearish. On the weekly view, the MACD indicator crossed to a negative stance as we were having this 1, 2, 3 formation manifest. And I'm anticipating that it's going to be a long time that this is going to be under the weather before it crosses to the positive and we can build something that's going to give us a turnaround structure. Prices get more interesting as we zoom into the daily time frame. We can see that we have lower lows, but we do have a hidden bullish divergence in the relative strength index and in the MACD. Our daily MACD crossed to the negative at the same time that our RSI broke to the negative here on the long-term time frame, right at the top formation. It also crossed to the negative right at this top formation. So as this is making a potential bottom formation and it has crossed to the positive, it does make me want to pay attention to a potential for a breakout here by looking at this indicator set on this time frame. When I zoom into the 12-hour, now we're getting closer in and we can start to see some more detail. As the RSI is breaking above these levels and we're breaking above the number 2, it is bullish. If this is flaring wider as we're breaking above, those are bullish signals and it would give me an action point. However, if this crosses this trend line and we're showing weakness from this level, and if this crosses to the negative as we're showing that weakness, it's also a sell signal. Let's take a quick look at Ichimoku Cloud and Bollinger Bands, then we're going to see why this is so important for the altcoins right now. This is definitely a bearish stance where we've had the blue line cross below the red line, and the last time it crossed below the red line, it took a long time before it crossed back positive again. And so I'm not expecting a little dip down and then a big blast off because of the way the weekly chart patterns are setting up here. As we go into the daily time frame, we can see the Ichimoku Cloud is still in a negative stance. The blue is below the red. And if prices come up underneath these levels, it would be a potential for a sell signal in the downtrend on the Ichimoku Cloud. And so it really puts this 1, 2, 3 formation into a completely different light when we are looking at it underneath the cloud rather than as a potential breakout of a big bull flag. Looking at the 12-hour Ichimoku Cloud, we can see that the blue line is coming very close now to crossing underneath the red line again, which would give this a sell signal in the bear trend. As we take a quick look at the Bollinger Bands, we can see that we're below the midline, so this is bearish overall. As we zoom into the daily view, we're doing that 1, 2, 3 formation, and we're just gaining a bit of strength over the midline of the daily Bollinger Band. That's really interesting for me to be monitoring this. And in the 12-hour Bollinger Bands, we're inside this 1, 2, 3, and the bands are narrowing, which indicates there's a big move coming. And here on the 4-hour time frame with the Bollinger Bands, we can see again that we're inside this channel, we're pushing up against these edges. But for me, with these exhaustion wicks, I am still feeling a little bearish. Another important market indicator I hadn't taken into consideration in the past when the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation is setting up in Bitcoin and other markets was to monitor the number of longs versus the number of shorts as this chart pattern is setting up. And we can see here that through December, we've had an enormous increase in the number of longs as this 1, 2, 3 formation is setting up. And the Ichimoku cloud is saying this is continuation of a downtrend. Should that happen, then the bigger market players are probably going to start selling hard. This is going to make all of these longs get liquidated, and it's going to push the prices back down sharply when it does go below these levels. And let's finish with what might be the biggest opportunity, that is the altcoins. Here we are looking at the chart of Bitcoin dominance. As we know, on April the 1st, there was a big change and Bitcoin started to crush all of the alts all the way down. Right here until the 6th of September, when Bitcoin dominance peaked, all of the alts bottomed right there. And there was an important divergence between all of the alts from this moment on, where many of the alts did very well, but a whole raft of the alts, the majority of them, did very poorly. As we zoom back out to the weekly view of Bitcoin dominance, we can see that Bitcoin dominance dropped dramatically here in 2017 as Bitcoin prices rose from $1,000 to $3,000. Now, through this long extended altcoin winter, it's a different story as we're coming up to the change of Bitcoin dominance right now. We've been doing an additional study to really take apart Bitcoin dominance and do the bell curve to see which of the coins that are at the low end of the bell curve that are not doing anything, and which of the coins that have performed well through this period and are at the top end of the bell curve. Particularly interesting is those coins that did well through this period where most of the altcoins stayed dormant. There were some coins that did some extraordinary moves through this period of time, and I wanted to know if those are the very same coins that are setting up best right now. And so we've been doing the bull market watch. We've been taking this trading plan and we've been reviewing all of the alts every day on Binance and Poloniex. But more, we've been doing some additional studies where we are going through these indicators, the Bollinger Band, the Ichimoku cloud, and making selected lists of the cryptocurrencies that might be doing something. So for example, we can see here that Litecoin, if we're looking at cryptocurrencies, it is below the daily Ichimoku cloud. But if we look at ADA, for example, it is above the Ichimoku cloud on the daily time frame. At the same time, if we look at Litecoin on the weekly Bollinger Band, we can see that it's decidedly below the band. This is still bearish. Whereas if we look at ADA and we zoom in on this, we can see that it is above the middle of the Bollinger Band and come down to a very narrow neck. And so we've been able to select out a portion of the altcoins that are to be avoided because they are not set up and performing well, and a portion of the coins that pass all three tests. They pass the bull market watch test of the bottom formation in place, they pass the Ichimoku cloud daily test, and they pass the weekly Bollinger Band test. This is a powerful select group that we can see that we already have 40 winners and 11 losers in that group of 51 coins, and it is well outperforming the market. But the most specific details are the most significant. And had you been a subscriber to our alert service through this period as the bull market is setting up in the altcoins, you would have received the alerts that have now turned out to be outstanding profits across all of the best of the altcoins. Examples like our trade entry on Matic, which was given back on the 6th of November 2019. You can see our 1, 2, 3 bottom formation setting up. You can see our entry levels and our stop levels. This was our entry on Matic, and it's doing amazing. Our stop loss is way below the market, and we're just going to sit and let this go. We're actually looking for a place now to add on to this trade after it pulls back and consolidates. And you can also see what we had here on RLC as the 1, 2, 3 formation is setting up, and we put up our trading plan. Our trading signal was at the very beginning of October as the 1, 2, 3 formation was setting up, and it's just been a winner ever since. Our stop loss again is well below the market, and we're actually watching now for the add-on signal on this one. How can you get this powerful research in your own hip pocket? You can support our YouTube channel by subscribing for $3 a month, or you can have access to the Bull Market Watch for just $20 a month, and there are only 9 more spots available for that. If you're interested in our Pro Alerts, it's $97 a month, and if you want to work with me on a daily basis, there are 2 spots remaining for the Wingman positions. So as a quick review, my trading system would say this is a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. It's broken the downtrend line. It's crossed over the 4-hour exponential moving average. If it crosses above these levels, it would be a buy signal. And if it came back and retested these levels and showed strength, it would be another chance for a buy signal. This is blind without looking at the indicators. When we go in and we look at the relative strength index and the MACD, we can see that we have a hidden bullish divergence right here, and a cross to the positive that is really interesting as we are creating this potential 1, 2, 3 formation. But when we go over and look at the Ichimoku cloud on the daily time frame, we are decidedly below the cloud, and a bounce up into these levels would be a sell signal in the Ichimoku downtrend. And also that the Bollinger Band on the daily time frame is just crossing over the midline, which is a kind of a bullish stance. So we have the confluence of different indicators kind of not agreeing with each other. We covered a load of information in today's special edition of the 24 Hours of Bitcoin. Be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, but most importantly, click on the link down below and come and join us on our Discord chat. Come and connect with people who are really trading these markets. We'll see you for the next episode of the 24 Hours of Bitcoin.